Stellison's in Ipswich. My name's Graham and today I've got another unboxing video for you. This time on the Sony KD65EX8596 4K Ultra HD TV. So as we look at the box, you can see 65-inch 4K logos. Sony's X1 processor is mentioned as well, and its fantastic triluminous display and that brilliant Android operating system as well. On top of the box it shows us a 1, and then on the side here it will show us a 2. This is just to make sure we unbox in the right order and don't end up dropping anything on top of the TV. Right, so as we just said, top first. Open it. Okay, so first of all, setup guide for those of you who aren't so confident. We then have part of the stand in the top there. We've then got a bit more of the stand, so we need to fix that together. A nice new TV remote again. And then we just need to move the polystyrene packaging out of the way. There is quite a lot of it, obviously, to protect the TV. 1, 2 blocks. It's quite often a good idea to take the packing out the sides as well. Just protects the edges of the screen as well. So 1 and 2. And from there, we're going to move on to the clips. So when it comes to these clips, it's normally just pinch it and pull it out, and then the box will move independently. So we just need to do the other 3. Okay, so we've done all 4 clips. Now we just need to lift the box off and find out what's inside. That's it, more packaging. So another cardboard sheet in front to protect the screen. So we'll take that off and we find the TV. The TV here is now in a nice protective bag, once again to protect the screen from scratching. So we can just have a little sneaky look there before we pull the put the pedestal together to put it on. So there she is. So once you've unwrapped the stand, place the pillar onto the stand, and it's literally just 2 screws, 1 in each side, and then we do the pillar on the other side. And again 2 screws, and this bracket will be taking the weight of the TV, and when we put the TV on top there'll be 2 screws going into the back to make sure it can't be lifted off and that the whole TV is secure. So here's the TV all complete. All I need to do now is lift the TV with my colleague, and we're going to place it onto the pedestal before we screw into the back. Okay, so this is where the pedestal attaches, so we just need to take 2 screws on each side, so it's 4 screws in total, attach them to the back of the TV, and it stops the TV being lifted off or being tipped off of the pedestal by accident. So that's 1, and now for the second screw in there, and then I'll cut away and do the other 2 without boring you. Whilst we're on the back of the TV, let's just have a closer look and see what else we've got here. So first of all, 4 screws on the back there. That's our Visa mounting in case you want to put it on the wall as opposed to using the pedestal stand. It's a standard fixture, any Visa bracket will fit that for the right size. Power lead on the left, hardwired. And if we come over to the right, at the top here, we can see we've got our common interface slot. This is primarily used for pay-per-view channels on Freeview and FreeSat. And then as we come down, You've got your component input. This is a analog high definition source but in 720. You've then got your optical audio output on the back. That's good for your home theatre systems and your speakers. And then we've got our first HDMI socket on the side here. As we come round, you can see we've got two satellite inputs. We've then got our Freeview socket above that, so that's your normal aerial TV. And then just above that, we've got our LAN input, which is a hardwire for the network connection if you don't want to use the Wi-Fi. You've then got the IR blast, which is the little lead in the instructions, so if you've got something in front of the TV, you can send a remote signal up. You've then got a jack input as well. You've then got the rest of our HDMI sockets, HDMI 4, 3 and 2. There's then two USBs, an audio output for your headphones, and then a third USB at the top there as well. And then our on-off switch with our volume and our menu buttons on the side here. And now to plug in my leads. First of all, my aerial is going to go in there. I'm then going to put in my LAN cable, that's my network cable, because I've got a lot of Wi-Fi systems in my shop, so I don't want to use the wireless on the TV, but at home it'll be absolutely fine. And then my first HDMI is going into the HDMI 1 socket for my Blu-ray player, and then I'm going to grab a second lead, and it's going to go into HDMI 3, which is the socket with the ARC. And this will be for my soundbar, my HT-NT5, and that will give me full control over the soundbar, which we'll see later. So let's just set up the remote control now. As you can see, nice easy design. We flip it over, click release on the bottom, so we push that down and slide. This exposes the back with the batteries. Also the model number there in case you do ever need to order a new Sony remote control. So take our batteries and we just insert them there firmly, 1 and 2, and they're just standard AAA batteries, and we're just going to clip the back on there and turn it back over. Job done. Right, let's turn the TV on. So press on the remote. First screen it comes up with is asking me my language, English in this case, so I'm just going to hold up the remote and I'm going to click enter, and all the instructions are now going to be in English. Next it asks me, do we have an Android phone or tablet? I'm going to select yes briefly just to show you what it does. Just means you can set up the TV with your Google account. Makes the setting up the TV a bit easier, but I understand not everybody has an Android device. Some people are on Apple, for instance. So we're going to click back now and go through this setup the other way. Right, so I'm now going to go down to no, I don't have an Android device. Next thing it moves on to is the router. So we'll bring up all the routers in the area. All you need to do is search through and find yours, click enter, and then put in your key code. Or at the top, you'll also notice it's got a WPS option, so you can just do a WPS setup instead, which just means press the WPS on the TV, on the router, and then it'll automatically set up. Now we've just got to go through the terms and conditions with Google, and it also wants to know your location. This is useful for setup and searches and recommendations. Do we want to improve Android? Yes, of course we do. Next we're going to tell it which country we're in, so we know what frequencies we're tuning for, and then we're just going to read through the Sony policy. Take your time to read this. I've seen it several times before, so I'm just going to skip through. And then you've got the option to put in a parental lock as well. This is to stop anybody underage in the house watching anything they shouldn't. Also means they can't change any settings they shouldn't as well, so just put in a 4-digit PIN and keep hold of that. Right, now we can set up the Skybox or your Virgin Media box to work off the TV remote if you want to as well. I don't have that, so I'm going to skip, but it is very, very easily done. And now it's going to ask me, do I want to use my satellite tuner? Again, I don't in this case, so I'm going to go skip, but if you do, it is very easy. It talks you through what it's doing. So it's just gone straight to Freeview now. So I'm just going to click digital, and it's going to start scanning the channels. This takes roughly 3 minutes once you've told it what to do. So we're now just going to skip out of this and let it do it by itself. Once it's tuned, it's going to ask us how we're displaying our TV, on a tabletop stand or on a wall. And then it just moves on to YouView, which is catch-up services for BBC, ITV, Channel 4 and Channel 5. So we just read through the policy on that. Again, I've read it several times before, so I'm just going to skim down and accept, which still takes a minute because it's very, very long. But if you could please read through it anyway. You never know what you're agreeing to otherwise, and clicking accept is a digital signature, so it's worth doing properly. Right, nearly there, hopefully anyway. And once you've done that, we'll just move up and accept OK. Now it's going to ask us the postcode. This is so you pick up the right channels for your area. So if you're living in Suffolk, you don't want the BBC Wales channels or vice versa. So put in your postcode, it will allow the TV to know where it is, and it will decode the channels for your area. It just takes a second to move round, and it also gives you the postcode for the shop. So if you do want to come in and see us, you can now type that into your sat nav. I tend to not share my location details with Sony, and that's it. YouView is ready to go. Fantastic. That was a simple setup. We'll just wait for the image to come back up. There we go, brilliant. Now let's look at the soundbar we were talking about earlier, the Sony KD65. Very sleek model, as you can see here. Got Google Cast and Spotify, so it works with Wi-Fi. It can give you multi-room music streaming. It's also got Bluetooth on it, so you can play music from your phone or from your tablet without having to hook it up to the Wi-Fi. Digital display in the middle. And as we come across, you can see we've got touch control for the buttons if you're not using the remote. So we've got our on-off switch on the side, our input select, our Bluetooth pairing, our volume down and our volume up. And there's more options on the remote. This unit also comes with a wireless subwoofer. As we flip it over, we can see the inputs. Again, we've got a LAN network. So if you don't want to use the Wi-Fi, you can just plug in to that. You've got your TV optical input, your 3.5mm jack and 4 HDMIs. So I'm just going to take that white HDMI lead from earlier and plug it into the one white HDMI out with ARC, and this will let the TV fully control the soundbar. Right, we've plugged in the soundbar. We just need to tell the TV it's there now. So if we go to the home button on the remote control, we just use the arrow keys to go down to settings, and then we just go across to sound and OK, and then we just pick second option down is TV speakers there. Click on that, and we'll just change that to the audio system, and it will pick up the HT-MT5 audio system active, and then I can just go back to my previous inputs. And now if I turn the volume up and down on the remote control, it will turn the volume up and down on the soundbar for me, so it controls it. And then I can also pick the inputs for the soundbar using the TV remote now as well, because of the ARC. Now if we come to the Discover button on our remote control, if we press that, it tells us what else is on currently at the moment on all the other channels. Or if we go back from there, because we want more information, just press the Program Guide button. It brings up YouView. This brings up all the channels listed from top to bottom. You can go forward to see what's on in the future, or we can go backwards for the last 7 days, and then we can use it for the catch-up services. So we don't have to go into separate apps for BBC iPlayer, ITV, Channel 4, Channel 5. It's all on the one guide. Just go down and click OK on what we want to catch up with. Okay, so let's have a look at this TV. And while we're panning around it, it's also worth mentioning the Sony remote also gives you voice search capabilities and Chromecast as well, so you can throw music from your phone or your tablet straight up onto the TV. It's got Google Play, which gives you movies and programs. Netflix, direct button on there, which gives you again more movies, documentaries and plenty of series. You can also download apps for Amazon, which again gives you movies, documentaries and series, thousands upon thousands. There's YouTube, and there's also games you can download for the TV as well and pair it up with a Sony PlayStation remote if you wanted to. The other thing worth pointing out, if we look at the leads here, you'll see as they go through the stand there, the stand actually acts as a cable tidy, so you can't see from the front the leads underneath the TV. It's just the little touches. So there we have it. That's the unboxing of the Sony KD65EX8596. It's now out on display. If you want to come in and see that or any of our other products, feel free to pop into the Ipswich store or any of the other stores listed at the end of the video. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining me.